The crimson light on her main console is not just a warning, it is a condemnation. It pulses, a slow, rhythmic beat like a dying heart, casting a bloody hue across the stark, metallic surfaces of the primary atmospheric processor station, the anvil. The doctor, Aris Thorne, stands before it, her knuckles white as she grips the cold edge of the control panel. The air in the circular chamber is sterile, recycled 1,000 times, carrying the flat taste of ozone and her own simmering frustration. Through the massive, curved viewport, the newly terraformed landscape of Aura stretches out, a breathtaking canvas of alien beauty. Violet mosses cling to rust-colored rocks, and in the distance, the colossal banded sphere of the gas giant, Cygnus, hangs like a striated jewel in the perpetual twilight sky, its soft light painting the world in ethereal pastels. This is her life's work, a decade of solitude and relentless effort, and it is unraveling in front of her. System diagnostics complete, a smooth, synthetic voice intones. Power drain source remains unlocated. Cascade failure of the green light sequence is imminent in 48 hours. Her reflection in the dark screen is a ghost, pale face framed by unruly black hair, eyes shadowed with a fatigue that is more than physical. It is the fatigue of fighting an invisible enemy. For 3 weeks, this phantom drain has bled the station's power, a slow leak that defies all her conventional troubleshooting. It's as if the moon itself is drinking the energy, sucking the life from her machines. She runs a hand through her hair, feeling the gritty texture of sweat and dust. She can't fail. Not now. Not when 1 million colonists are sleeping in cryosleep, their ships poised at Lagrange points, waiting for the signal that Aura is ready to welcome humanity. Her boots echo with a hollow, metallic finality as she abandons the main console and strides towards the central data spire, a crystalline column that glows with intricate, swirling light. "Run a deep-level geological scan," she commands, her voice sharper than she intended. "I want a full-spectrum analysis of the substrata beneath the station. Focus on harmonic resonance and any anomalous energy signatures. Look for anything that doesn't belong." It's a last, desperate gambit, a search for a seismic event or a hidden mineral deposit that could be causing this. The computer acknowledges with a soft chime, and the data spire erupts in a frantic dance of light, streams of information flowing like liquid emerald. Aris sinks into her worn command chair, the aged leather creaking in protest. She watches the scan visualizations paint themselves across her main screen, topographical maps, mineral density readings, thermal gradients. It's all standard, exactly as predicted by the initial planetary surveys. Then something flickers. A pattern, a subtle, repeating oscillation in the quantum resonance field, a signature so faint it's like a whisper in a hurricane. It's not random. It's structured. Her breath catches in her throat. She leans forward, her heart hammering against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat of sudden, terrifying hope. Enhance Sector 7 Beta. Filter out all known background radiation. There, mapped out in shimmering lines of incandescent gold against the deep blue rock, is a vast, labyrinthine network. It looks like a neural web, a city of light buried a kilometer beneath the station's foundation. Tunnels and chambers pulse with a soft, internal luminescence, and the energy signature is a perfect match for the drain. This is no mineral deposit. This is architecture. Without a second thought, she is moving, her earlier exhaustion burned away by a surge of adrenaline-fueled purpose. She grabs a portable scanner and a high-powered luminal torch, her movements quick and precise. The journey to the service elevator is a blur of stark, gray corridors and the hum of machinery. The elevator cage descends with a shuddering groan, plunging her into the deep, silent darkness below the station. The air grows colder, thicker, carrying the scent of crushed rock and something else, something electric and alien. The light from her torch cuts a trembling swath through the absolute black, illuminating the rough-hewn walls of the maintenance tunnel. She follows the scanner's frantic beeping, the signal growing stronger with every step, a siren's call leading her deeper into the planet's heart. The tunnel opens abruptly into a cavern, so immense her torch beam cannot find its ceiling. And then she sees it. The world falls away. Her mind reels, struggling to process the impossible vista before her. The entire cavern is a forest of living crystal. Towers of amethyst and rose quartz spiral towards the unseen heights, pulsing with a gentle, internal light. Delicate, fibrous structures like spun glass connect them, humming with a low, melodic thrum that vibrates through the soles of her boots. The air shimmers with contained energy. This is no mere ecosystem. It is a civilization. It is beautiful, and it is siphoning her power not as a parasite, but as a lifeline. As the world falls away, her mind reels, struggling to process the impossible vista before her. The entire cavern is a forest of living crystal. Towers of amethyst and rose quartz spiral towards the unseen heights, pulsing with a gentle, internal light. Delicate, fibrous structures like spun glass connect them, humming with a low, melodic thrum that vibrates through the soles of her boots. The air shimmers with contained energy. This is no mere ecosystem. It is a civilization. It is beautiful, and it is siphoning her power not as a parasite, but as a lifeline. As she stands there, paralyzed by awe, the cavern responds to her presence. The soft, ambient glow intensifies, the light flowing down the crystalline structures like liquid fire, converging on a central, massive spire of perfectly clear quartz directly ahead of her. The melodic hum deepens, resolving into a complex, layered chord that seems to vibrate within the very marrow of her bones. She takes a hesitant step forward, her boot crunching on the fine, glittering dust of the cavern floor. The sound echoes, and the light in the central spire brightens in direct response. "It's sentient," she breathes, the words a ghost of steam in the chilled air. Her scanner is going wild, its screen a chaotic mess of unreadable energy signatures and biological patterns that defy every known database. You're not just drawing power, you're communicating with it. You're using the station's energy field as a language. The light within it coalesces, swirls, and forms a shape. It is a perfect, three-dimensional representation of her own atmospheric processor station, rendered in shimmering photons. A thin, glowing tether of light extends from the model down into the base of the crystal, pulsing in time with the hum. "You're showing me," she whispers, her voice thick with a mixture of terror and profound wonder. "You're showing me the connection. You didn't mean to cause a drain. You're just trying to talk." She looks from the luminous model to the cavern around her, her engineer's mind finally piecing it together. "Your ecosystem is silicon-based. You don't metabolize carbon. You metabolize energy. Specific M frequencies. The green light sequence, it's broadcasting a frequency that is your sustenance. You're not killing my mission. You're just trying to survive its final phase." It is not a station, nor a schematic. It is an abstract, beautiful pattern of interlocking geometric shapes, shifting and flowing with an undeniable, intelligent cadence. It feels like a name. "A question." "Kaelen," Aris says, the word feeling strangely right on her tongue. "I'll call you Kaelen." A wave of pure, unadulterated understanding washes over her, not as words, but as concepts, as emotions. A deep geological patience, a profound connection to the stone, and a flicker of fear, a mirror of her own. This entity, Kaelen, is not a single being, but a focal point, a nexus of consciousness for the entire network. An echo of the whole. For hours, or perhaps days, time has lost all meaning in this subterranean cathedral. Aris sits on the cool crystal floor, her datapad forgotten beside her. She speaks aloud, describing her mission, the ships waiting in the void, the hopes of a humanity desperate for a new home. In return, Kaelen shows her visions of Aura's deep past, of eons of silent, crystalline growth, of a consciousness that measures time in the slow uplift of mountains and the patient carving of rivers through stone. She sees their art, their history, their quiet philosophy etched in the resonant frequencies of light and stone. They are the planet's memory. They are its soul. A sharp, intrusive chime shatters the sacred silence. It's her comm link, the signal weak but piercing in the cavern's stillness. A red priority message flashes on her wrist unit. It's from Earth Central Command. Dr. Thorne, your biosigns have been erratic. Our deep scan satellites have detected a massive, anomalous energy signature at your coordinates, consistent with a previously undocumented geological or biological phenomenon. The board of directors has been apprised. Preliminary analysis categorizes the phenomenon as a level 1 contaminant risk to the terraforming project. What? No, you don't understand. This isn't a contaminant. This is first contact. What? The project is too critical to risk. You are hereby ordered to initiate the sterilization protocol for your sector. A focused plasma burst, channeled through the very energy network they are tapping, will scour the substrata. The green light sequence will proceed on schedule once the infestation is purged. What? The silence. The word infestation echoes in the silent cavern, a vile, poisonous term that seems to stain the very air. Aris stares at her wrist unit, at the blank screen where the cold, bureaucratic death sentence was just delivered. A tremor runs through her, starting deep in her soul and radiating outwards until her entire body is shaking. She feels the gaze of the cavern upon her, the gentle, inquisitive hum of Kaelen and the echoes now feeling like a silent plea. The sterile, recycled air of the station feels 1,000,000 miles away. Here, the atmosphere is thick with the scent of ozone and crushed minerals, charged with the electricity of a nascent consciousness facing extinction. They ordered your sterilization, she whispers, her voice cracking. She looks up at the central spire at Kaelen. The beautiful geometric pattern that is its name has shifted, now swirling with dark, frantic streaks of amber and crimson, a perfect visual representation of alarm. They think you're a disease, a contaminant to be scrubbed clean. A hot, sharp fury ignites in her chest, burning away the last vestiges of her shock. It's a righteous, protective anger she hasn't felt in a decade. This isn't a malfunctioning circuit or an unstable atmospheric reading. This is genocide, dictated from a comfortable boardroom on a world light years away. I won't let them, she says, her voice hardening, firm and resonant in the vast space. She is speaking to Kaelen, to the echoes, and to herself. I built this world, and I will not be the instrument of its first true death. The decision settles over her, not as a weight, but as a terrifying, exhilarating clarity. Her mission is no longer about terraforming Aura for humanity. It is about saving Aura from it. Her mind, once clouded with frustration, now races with a frantic, brilliant energy. She paces before the quartz spire, her boots scattering the crystalline dust. The sterilization protocol, it uses the terraforming network itself. They're going to turn my own machinery into a weapon. They'll channel a plasma burst through the primary energy grid, using the very connection you've been tapping for sustenance to deliver a killing blow. She stops, a wild, desperate idea beginning to form. But that means the network is a two-way street. If they can send a death sentence through it, maybe I can send a shield. The green light sequence. It's not just one signal. It's a planet-wide cascade, a massive M-pulse that activates the final, dormant terraforming engines. The energy surge would be incalculable. It would be a feast for you, but it would also be a beacon, painting a target on your back for every scanner from here to Earth. She kneels, her fingers tracing patterns in the dust. But what if I could modify the sequence? Not to greenlight the planet for colonists, but to hide it. To create a planetary cloak, a constant, low-level interference field that would mask your biosignature completely. To every sensor in the universe, this cavern, this entire network would look like inert rock. A geological anomaly, nothing more. It is not of the past, but of the future. She sees the schematic of the atmospheric processor, but now it is overlaid with impossibly complex crystalline circuitry, their own innate technology. They are showing her how their natural resonant frequencies could be woven into the cloak, amplifying it, making it a part of the planet's own magnetic field. A symbiotic shield. Yes, Aris breathes, a fierce grin spreading across her face. It would work. But the reality of the cost crashes down upon her. To do it, I would have to sabotage the entire green light sequence. I'd have to reroute the primary power couplings, overwrite the core initiation code. I would be stranding the colony ships. I would be betraying my species. I would be in exile. The words hang in the air, each one a heavy stone dropped into the silence. Exile. Alone on this world forever, with only the echoes for company. Her life's work not just failed, but actively destroyed by her own hand. Before she can fully process the enormity of her choice, a new, more urgent alarm blares from her wrist unit. This one isn't a message. It's a system-wide alert. The text scrolls across the tiny screen, each word a hammer blow. Sterilization protocol initiated. Remote sequence engaged. Plasma burst in T-10 minutes. They're bypassing me. They're doing it remotely. She screams, launching herself to her feet. There's no time for contemplation, for grief, for fear. There is only action. She sprints from the cavern, the beautiful, pulsing light of the echoes casting her long, desperate shadow ahead of her. The melodic hum has become a frantic, dissonant wail of panic. She doesn't look back. The service elevator ascent. The service elevator ascent is a torturous, shuddering climb through absolute darkness, each groaning ratchet of the machinery feeling like a nail being hammered into a coffin. Aris leans against the cold metal grating, her chest heaving, not from the exertion of her sprint, but from the raw, panicked terror constricting her lungs. The frantic, dissonant wail of the echoes seems to have seeped into the very rock around her, a psychic scream that vibrates in her teeth. The sterile, processed air of the station above is a distant memory. Here, the shaft smells of ancient dust, ozone from her own frantic passage, and the sharp, metallic tang of her fear. Her mind is a single, screaming imperative: 10 minutes. 10 minutes to rewrite a world's destiny. The elevator doors hiss open onto the main control deck, and she stumbles out into the familiar, sterile environment that now feels like an alien and hostile ship. The crimson warning light still pulses its slow, dying rhythm, but it is no longer a condemnation of her failure. It is a countdown to her ultimate crime. She throws herself into her command chair, her fingers flying across the holographic interface with a speed born of pure, undiluted desperation. Schematics of the planetary energy grid erupt around her, a complex web of light and power that she knows better than the lines on her own hands. Override Command Authority, Thorne Alpha 09. She barks, her voice raw and cracking. The system chimes, accepting her biometric signature. She is now the sole master of the anvil, a queen presiding over the imminent destruction of her own kingdom. Her plan is a beautiful, terrifying madness: to hijack the sterilization protocol's plasma energy and the incoming green light sequence, funneling both into a resonant frequency that Kaelen showed her. A shield that would weave the echoes' own life signature into the planet's magnetosphere, rendering them invisible. Rerouting primary power couplings from sectors 1 through 7, she mutters, her words a frantic chant as her hands dance through the light. Diverting plasma burst energy into the auxiliary dampening field generators. Weaving crystalline resonance pattern into the core modulation. Lines of power on the schematic shift from angry red to a calm, steady blue, flowing away from the cavern and into a global network of emitters. It's working. It's a live comlink. The face of Director Valerius, the head of the Terraforming board, stares out at her, his features a mask of cold, composed fury. His office is a panorama of a pristine, green earth, a stark contrast to the stark metal and crisis-lit red of her station. Dr. Thorne, his voice is like chipped ice, devoid of any humanity. All system overrides have been logged and flagged. Explain your actions. Immediately. She forces herself to meet his gaze, her own eyes wide and wild. Director, the phenomenon is not a contaminant. It is a sentient, silicon-based life form. A civilization. I am attempting to implement a non-lethal containment solution that will preserve both the project and this first contact scenario. She tries to keep her voice steady, professional, but it wavers with the sheer weight of the truth. Valerius's lip curls in a sneer of utter contempt. A civilization of rocks. Doctor, you have been in isolation for too long. You are hallucinating. You are jeopardizing a trillion-credit investment and the future of 1,000,000 human souls for a geological curiosity. Stand down. Reinstate the sterilization protocol, and we will consider this a moment of temporary psychosis brought on by stress and isolation. A hot, defiant rage surges through her, burning away the last remnants of her fear. It is not a curiosity. She snarls, leaning into the pickup, her face inches from the screen. They have art. They have history. They have names. They are the soul of this world, and you want to scrub them away like a stain on a lab floor. I will not be a part of this genocide. Then you leave me no choice. You are hereby relieved of duty, Doctor Thorne. Your command codes are being rescinded remotely as we speak. Security protocols are initiating a full station lockdown. You will remain in that chair, and you will watch as we clean up your mess. The main exit to the control deck seals with a final, deafening boom, trapping her inside. On her screen, she watches in horror as her command authority is systematically stripped away, line by line, her access turning from green to a forbidding, locked red. The system she built, her life's work, is now her prison and the executioner of the world below. No, 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 no. She? No, 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 no. She screams, her voice a raw, desperate thing against the implacable hum of the machinery and the final, deafening boom of the locking bulkheads. The control deck, once her kingdom of creation, is now a tomb of cold, polished metal and shimmering, treacherous screens, the air thick with the taste of her own failure. On the main display, Director Valerius's face is a stony, pitiless monument to corporate will, his eyes devoid of any empathy, seeing only a malfunctioning asset and a problematic cost analysis. Her hands fly back to the console, her fingers stabbing at the interface, but every command she enters is met with a sharp, denying chime and a flashing, access DENIED in brutal crimson text. The system she designed, the code she wrote, has been turned against her, a digital prison warden locking her away from the only action that matters. It's over, Doctor. Valerius's voice crackles through the speakers, smooth and utterly final. Just sit back. It will be over in a few minutes. A momentary blip on a financial report. A necessary calibration. Her entire being is focused on the schematics, on the lines of power that are now being wrested from her control. She sees the sterilization protocol's countdown ticking down in the corner of her vision, T-7 minutes. The plasma energy is building, a storm of incandescent death being funneled through the very gridwork that connects her station to the beautiful, fragile city of light below. Her mind races, a frantic animal searching for any crack in the walls of her cage. She tries to access the primary power conduits, denied. She tries to initiate a core system reboot, denied. The lockdown is absolute, a fortress of code. Then her eyes, blurred with furious, helpless tears, snag on a tiny, almost forgotten detail in the schematic. A physical, hardwired maintenance link. A relic from the station's earliest construction phases. A thick, fiber-optic umbilical used for direct, non-network diagnostics, running from the central processing core down through the deck plating to the primary geothermal tap. It was her personal installation, a quirk from her hands-on days, a line she insisted on for absolute redundancy. It exists outside the main network. It's a backdoor. Valerius and his remote technicians, working only from blueprints, would have no reason to even know it exists. A wild, reckless hope, sharp and painful, lances through her despair. She shoves herself away from the main console, the chair screeching across the polished floor. She drops to her hands and knees, her fingers scrambling across the cool, textured metal plates until she finds it, a small, almost invisible seam. It has to be here, she mutters, her breath coming in ragged gasps. She pries at it with her fingernails, feeling them tear, but the panel doesn't budge. Cursing, she scrambles back to her toolkit, her heart hammering a frantic, panicked rhythm against her ribs. T-6 minutes. She seizes a heavy multi-tool, jams the pry bar end into the seam, and heaves with all her strength. The metal groans in protest, then gives way with a sharp, percussive pop. Inside the dark, cramped space, she sees it. The thick, shielded cable, coiled and dormant, its interface port dust-covered but intact. It is a single, fragile thread connecting her to the heart of the machine, a thread her overseers cannot sever from light years away. This is it. Her only chance. She connects her personal datapad directly to the port, her hands trembling so violently she almost drops the connector twice. The screen of her pad flickers to life, displaying a raw command line interface, a stark, text-based window into the station's soul. This is programming at its most fundamental, stripped of all the user-friendly holograms and safety protocols. Here, one wrong character could trigger a catastrophic core breach. The weight of the moment presses down on her, a physical force. She is about to type the code that will exile her from her own species, that will strand 1,000,000 sleeping souls, that will brand her a traitor for all of human history. She looks up through the massive, curved viewport. The pastel beauty of Aura stretches out beneath the banded majesty of Cygnus, a world she has nurtured for 10 long years. She thinks of the colonists in their cold sleep, dreaming of a new home. She thinks of Kaelen, of the silent, beautiful song of the echoes, a song older than humanity itself. She cannot save both futures. She must choose. Taking a deep, shuddering breath that does nothing to calm the storm inside her, her fingers find the keyboard. They move with a sudden, preternatural certainty, no longer trembling. She begins to type, the clicks of the keys like gunshots in the tense silence. Line after line of complex, irreversible code scrolls up the screen. She is rewriting the core directive of the entire terraforming operation. She is turning the anvil from a creator into a guardian, its purpose shifted from making a world habitable. The final command hovers on the screen, a blinking cursor after the last line of world-breaking code. Her finger is poised over the Enter key, a trembling bridge between two eternities. The weight of it is astronomical, a physical pressure crushing her lungs. She can feel the ghostly presence of 1,000,000 sleeping colonists, their frozen breath held in the void, their dreams of purple moss and alien skies about to be extinguished by her hand. She sees the faces of her colleagues, her friends on Earth, their expressions shifting from respect to confusion to horror to hatred. She is about to become the greatest traitor in the history of space exploration, a monster who chose rocks over her own kind. But then she feels it, not a sound, but a vibration transmitted through the deck plating, through the very bones of the station. It is a low, resonant, desperate hum from the world below, a final, silent scream from Kaelen and the echoes. It is a song of ancient mountains and patient starlight, a consciousness that has witnessed epochs and now faces annihilation in a single, fiery instant. It is not a plea. It is a reminder of what truly matters. Not conquest, but coexistence. Not ownership, but guardianship. For a future that can still sing, she whispers, her voice a dry, broken thing in the sterile air. She presses the key. The effect is instantaneous and cataclysmic. The Enter command is not a gentle submission, it is a detonation. The entire station seems to lurch, a groaning, metallic beast wounded in its very heart. The crimson warning light on the main console, which had pulsed with the rhythm of a dying heart, now explodes into a solid, searing sheet of red, accompanied by a deafening, continuous siren that shreds the air. Every other screen on the control deck flashes white, then dissolves into a chaotic torrent of scrolling error codes and catastrophic failure alerts. The holographic schematics of her beautiful, intricate planetary grid twist and contort. The calm blue lines of power she had so carefully rerouted now erupting into violent, jagged arcs of incandescent orange and furious purple. The air itself crackles with static electricity, making the fine hairs on her arms stand on end, and filling her nostrils with the sharp, acrid smell of burning ozone and superheated circuits. On the comlink screen, Director Valerius's composed, granite mask shatters. His eyes widen in genuine apoplectic shock, his mouth opening in a silent, furious roar. The image flickers, distorting as the data stream from Earth is violently disrupted. Thorne. What have you done? His voice screams, digitized and broken, barely audible over the cacophony of the dying station. You've triggered a cascade failure in the primary reactor. You've diverted the plasma burst into the planetary magnetosphere. The energy readings they're impossible. The entire network is going non-linear. His face pixelates, freezing for a moment on a visage of pure, undiluted rage before the signal winks out entirely, plunging that corner of the deck into sudden, merciful silence. The link to Earth is severed. She is truly, utterly alone. But outside the viewport, a new genesis is unfolding. The gentle, pastel twilight of aura is being rewritten in real time. The sky is no longer a soft canvas of purples and blues. It is now a raging, shimmering aurora of impossible colors. Vivid, pulsating vermilion, deep, resonant cerulean, and brilliant, electric gold. The light does not fall from the heavens, but rises from the planet itself, emanating from the thousands of terraforming emitter towers scattered across the continents. It weaves itself into a colossal, shimmering dome of energy, a planetary-scale shield that hums with a profound, foundational frequency. It is the song of the echoes, amplified a billionfold, woven into the very fabric of the world's magnetic field. She can feel Kaelen's presence not as a whisper from below, but as a thunderous chord resonating through the ship, through her bones, through her soul. They are no longer hidden. They are unified with their world, their essence cloaked in a barrier of their own amplified consciousness. A new, different tremor shakes the anvil, more violent than the last. A series of internal explosions thunder deep within the station's superstructure, their muffled, percussive booms echoing up through the deck plates like the death knell of a great leviathan. Conduits along the ceiling rupture, venting sprays of white, supercooled coolant that flash freezes into glittering, toxic frost in the air. The main lighting array flickers and dies, plunging the circular chamber into a chaotic strobe of emergency red flares and the frantic, dying light of the consoles. The low, sustaining hum of the life support systems chokes into a sickening gurgle, then falls silent, leaving only the scream of the alarms and the creaking, moaning protests of the station tearing itself apart. The air, once sterile and controlled, is now growing thin, the temperature plummeting as the environmental controls fail. The taste of ozone is now mixed with the unmistakable metallic scent of vacuum and death. Through the magnificent, terrifying light show of the view,